Good morning, students. Today we'll be understanding about light propagation by two different theories which we have today. Uh, the first theory which we have is optical path length, and the second theory which we have is Fermat's principle. So these two make us understand how light is going to be propagated when it comes to different refractive medias and different refractive indices. So when we are trying to understand light from one point to a different point, when it is traveling from one point to a different point, so sometimes we may need to understand in optical path length theory, and sometimes we may need to understand as per Fermat's principle. So we'll be in this presentation we'll be understanding about what is Fermat's principle, and we'll also be understanding what is optical path length, and also we are going to understand the difference between optical path length as well as Fermat's principle. So we go with the definitions first. Once we understand the definitions, we are going to understand how they are different from each other. So in today's class, we'll be understanding these different terminologies and different contents of presentation. So we'll be understanding the optical path length, what is exactly optical path length, and how exactly it is different from Fermat's principle. So we are going to go with the understanding of optical path length and Fermat's principle, and how the both are different from each other. So and we'll be looking at summary and references as well. So this is the contents for today's class. So optical path length. So optical path length, or it is also called as OPL. So this is one of the methodology or an understanding to understand how light exactly propagates. So the optical path length allows for the slower velocity of light in any media through which the rays travel. So if we try to understand the light through any media, so light will be going through different refractive indices and different refractive medias. If we are trying to understand the light propagation from one point to a point A to point B, so it may tend to cross different refractive medias. It can go through light, it can go through the air, it can go through water, it can go through any different media. So any media which can propagate the light, so light can travel through it. So we'll be taking different refractive indices, and we'll be understanding light in different refractive indices with the different velocities. So it depends on the refractive indices on which the light is propagating. So if we understand how the light is traveling in water and how the light is traveling in air, so the velocity of light in both the cases will be different. So here we'll be able to understand how much like so we have formulas to understand how we are going to combine them, and how we are going to analyze by using optical path length. So for an optical system, from to form a perfect image, the optical path lengths for all the rays converging on the image must be equal. So when it comes to the image formation, so all the rays, okay, so I can't certainly go with some particular, some amount of rays only. So all the rays which are taking uh, uh, taking part in making some image. So if some rays are traveling in a different velocity and some rays are traveling in a different velocity, the image which is going to be formed is not going to be uniform. So to make sure the image is going to be uniform, all the rays should travel equally and simultaneously. So when we try to understand the optical path length, we tend to assume that the light is going to be uniform with all different rays. So we can't exactly assume, we can't exactly calculate for each individual ray. So we go with a assumption that the light is going to be traveled equally, and the light is going to be uh, the the frequency of light or the number of light rays which are traveling, they are going to be uniform in our assumption when we are trying to deal with optical path length. So moving further, so suppose light travels from point S to point P by transferring several layers of media of different refractive indices. As we have a picture here, so in this picture you can see the light is traveling from point S to point P, but you have approximately 5 to 6 different refractive indices here. So medium 1, medium 2, medium 3, medium 4, medium 5, medium 6. Okay, so here from starting from medium 1 to medium 6, maybe medium 1 is equals to medium 4 or medium 4 is equals to medium 6. We doesn't know this. So if we tend to assume that light is going to travel from one point to a different point, so it may tend to travel or it may tend to transfer through different refractive indices. And when it is transferring through different refractive media or indices, so we had to take part of all different indices, and we had to go with all different velocities. And when we use this formula, so we are going to get the summation of different medias and different velocities. And so this is how we are going to calculate uh, the light, the amount of distance which is traveled by light ray. So here, if we calculate the distance from point A to point B, from D1 to D2, it could be 2 centimeters. From D2 to D3, it could be 3 centimeters, and D3 to D4, it could be 5 centimeters. So on an average, from D1 to Dk, if I assume it, it could be 10 centimeters. Okay, but if you directly calculate the distance between D1 to D10, okay, with a scale, by calculating the minimum distance between D1 to D10, the distance could be different from the difference which you are getting from each individual point. It's like you're, as an example, if we consider you're traveling from one point. So let's assume you're traveling from uh, uh, Hyderabad to Delhi. So when you're traveling from Hyderabad to Delhi, you have different cities which are coming in between. So when you are trying to calculate the distance between Hyderabad to Delhi, and if you are calculating the distance between each city in between, and if you are summating them, and if you are calculating the overall distance, so that is called as optical path length. Whereas if I am taking a map, okay, if I am taking a map and if I am scaling from point Hyderabad to point Delhi directly, so that distance could be different. So, so the distance is, mostly similar, but always optical path length used to be or tend to be more greater than the minimum distance between two points. So moving further, the index of so here index is also makes an important role, because when the light is traveling through different refractive indices, the light is traveling through different refractive indices, the velocity of light will change. So if you consider one particular index which is higher than the other index, so the refractive index which is higher is going to have slower velocity than the refractive index which is lower. So here, by taking an average, so because of different refractive indices, so the light propagation can be different, and the overall distance which you are going to get from point D1 to D10, so you are going to get a different distance, and the time taken will be different. So if you're considering the average of all different indices, and if you're trying to calculate the total time which is taken, that time and the time which is calculated by individual refractive indices will be different. So time taken and the distance traveled are going to be different when you're calculating through optical path length. So if you go through the line here, the summation of nj to dj terms is known as optical path length. It is the product of all different indices of the media and optical path length in the medium. Equal optical path length occurs for all the rays paths between wavefronts. So as earlier we have discussed about optical wavefront. So optical wavefront, when we talk about optical wavefront, each point of light will travel as a wavefront, and each point of light will emerge into different points. Okay, the secondary source is called as wavefront. So the complete ray of structure which is going to be formed is called as wavefront. So here, so when we are trying to understand the uh, light as in case of optical path length from point 1 to point 10, so we need to understand the light in optical wavefront structure. So when these rays transfer the irregular optical media, so as we have discussed, we have different refractive indices here. So when indices are changing, the medium velocity will also change. So when the medial velocity is changing, So uh, time is going to be the time is not going to be regular. The time is going to be irregular. So and the emergent wave front is deformed waves are in the face of the wavefront. So we'll understand Fermat's principle now. So as we have understood optical path length using the formula, so here we'll understand about Fermat's principle. So here when we understand light propagation through Fermat's principle, Fermat's principle says that if your light is traveling from point A to point C, so we are going to take the shortest distance which is available between point A and point C. So we will not assume that the point E is there in between, or the light, because of the different refractive index. So the light is going to move away to point B, and again it is going to move in due to the different refractive index, and it is going to reach point C. So we will not assume in this way, as optical path length is going to be make us understand in this way. So Fermat's principle says that if you are trying to understand or calculate the distance between point A and point C, or point 1 to point 10, so we need to take the shortest distance which is available between point 1 to point 10. So here the straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points. So it would appear that in reflecting from M to R, light takes the shortest path. So here we have a diagram to understand. Light, when it is traveling from one point to a different point, so it may propagate with different refractive indices or different refractive media. So when it is traveling through different refractive indices, so it may propagate to different points, and finally it may reach to the final point. But as an overall structure, we need to understand from point A to point C. So the amount of distance which is there as a minimum distance, so we are going to calculate that distance in Fermat's principle. So Fermat's principle originally said that a ray of light is going from one point to another point takes a path that requires the least time. So when the distance is least, the time is going to be least. So your Fermat's principle follows the least distance, and the time taken is also going to be least. So when you compare your values from optical path length and Fermat's principle, so the values are going to be different. Always your optical path length values are going to be more compared to the distance which is taken or considered from Fermat's principle. So Fermat's principle is that the transversal time extreme a minimum for a maximum, or has a stationary value with respect to the paths. So the distance and the time, okay, so it is going to be minimum when it comes to Fermat's principle, but when it comes to optical path length, so both the things are going to be higher when you're comparing two values together. So it is obvious in figure that light does not take the shortest line path in refracting from point A to point C. So we are we are talking only about light traveling. So we are not talking about how the light is going to act in different other ways. So we all know that light is going to be refracting, it is going to be dispersing. So all these phenomena we are not going to discuss, or we are not going to collaborate with Fermat's principle. So when we are talking about Fermat's principle, we only talk about right propagation. Moving further, so we have understood what is optical path length, the distance between one point to a point A to point C. So the distance which is traveled by point A to point B to point C, it is called as optical path length. And we have also understood what is Fermat's principle, the minimum distance which is taken from point A to point C, and the time is going to be minimal. So these are the differences between Fermat's principle and optical path length as per this presentation. So this is the content which we have understood in today's class in understanding about light propagation through different methodologies. So the references which you can follow here, so you can follow clinical refraction by Borish. I have an ebook which is available, I can share it. And second textbook which you can follow is Geometrical Optics by William Katz. So these are the two textbooks which you can follow for understanding more about these two topics, optical path length as well as Fermat's principle. Thanks for today's class.